The movie kicks off by introducing a lady named Louis Shy. She's a famous warrior known for always winning her cases. One day, she helps out a guy named Mr. Zhao, and he's so grateful that he invites her to dinner. While they're chatting, Zhao is kind of surprised that Louis, who's super smart and good-looking, is still single. This question stirs up some old memories she'd rather forget. Later, when Louie's back home, she's watching TV and hears about a famous artist who just passed away. An art gallery decides to put on an exhibition to honor the artist's work. As she's watching, she notices some pieces that connect to her past, so she decides to visit the gallery the next day. At the gallery, she's checking out all the stuff on display, including personal items from the artist's fans. Then, out of the blue, she spots her lost diary. She tries to grab it, but the gallery staff stops her. Turns out you can only take stuff from the exhibition with the owner's permission, so Louis has to wait for the gallery to get in touch with whoever sent the diary to the exhibition. Let's go back in time. When Louis was just a kid, she called out to her dad who was on his way home, all excited because he was bringing her a Froggy Ran coat she really wanted. She felt so happy, but then everything turned sad when they got news of a terrible accident that took her dad's life. Luigi and her mom Lynn were crushed by the heartbreaking news. It hit Louie Lynn doubly hard because not only did she lose her husband, but they couldn't even get the insurance money. So Lynn decided they had to visit her dad's boss to fight for what they deserve. While waiting for her mom to talk to the boss, Louie sat outside staring at her frog sticker. That's when a boy named Shangu Nan, who happened to be her dad's boss's son, came over and introduced himself. He invited her to play, but things went south when some troublemakers started causing problems. Lu Lin rushed in, took Louie home, and strictly forbade her from hanging out with Wooey Nan. Fast forward 10 years. Luigi's in high school. She's checking her grades on the bulletin board, and she is shocked by a change in the school ranking. After Wooey Nan, who is a new transfer student of the school, managed to get first place, Louie, who used to be in the top 10, now finds herself in 11th place. Her mom's not too thrilled and gives her an earful about her slipping grades. The next day of school, Wooey Nan, the guy who came in first place, gave a pep talk to all of the students. Louie, who was in the crowd, couldn't help but pay close attention to him. She never expected to see the boy from her childhood again. From that day on, Louie secretly kept an eye on Wooey Nan, even though he didn't remember her as the girl he used to play with a decade ago. She even tried following his study techniques, like how he remembered English words. One day, Louie went up to the school rooftop where she knew Wooey Nan often hung out. She wrote a few anonymous messages on the wall, hoping he'd notice. During Jin Mim class, there was a rumor going around that a girl named Yan Yan was close to Wooey Nan. Many of Louie's friends thought they made a perfect couple, but when she heard the gossip, Luigi tried not to let it bother her. She focused on her running practice with her friends. Then, something unexpected happened. Her friend, Jen Wen-ru, fell on the field and panicked because she lost her lucky charm. Louie tried to calm her down and took her away from the field, and out of the blue, Wooey Nan showed up, giving Wooey-ru an amulet he found on the field. A few days later, Louie went back up to the school roof and got a big surprise when Nan was there, responding to the messages she'd written on the wall. After we left, she hurriedly checked and replied to those messages. This became a daily thing. They'd exchanged messages on the wall, even though Wooey Nan had no idea it was Louie behind them. Besides that, Louie went out of her way to learn all she could about Wooey Nan. She watched how he held his chopsticks and always tried to stay close to him. Once Louie and her friends had a rehearsal for a school performance. For the dress rehearsal, she ended up wearing a plant costume. Jan Yan was the main singer in the corps, and she asked Wooey Nan to play the piano for her. Luigi felt jealous and suggested to her teacher to pick a new main singer. The teacher agreed and gave Louie a chance to sing the song. Sadly, her performance didn't go so well. People ended up laughing because her voice wasn't very good, so she had to go back to being a plant, while Zan Yan became the main singer of the show. On the day of the performance, Louie and her friends did their thing on stage. After it was all over, when Ru suddenly blurted out her feelings for Wooey Nan in front of everyone, Wooey Nan just smiled in IGN order, walking off with Zan Yan. When Ru got cheers from their friends for her bold move.
Afterward, when Rude told Luigi that she didn't regret confessing her feelings for Juan, even though it was embarrassing, Louie was surprised because she had been keeping her own feelings for H-Non hidden. A little later during class, Louie poured her heart out in her diary because she wasn't sure if she could ever be with Ween. Suddenly, It started to rain, so she hurried up to the school roof to check the messages she and Wynan had written on the wall up there. She felt sad because the rain had washed away all the writing. Unexpectedly, Juan also rushed to the roof and noticed that their messages were gone. Louis quickly hid behind a wall, not wanting him to see her. Just like Louis, Wynan felt sad when he saw that all the messages he had shared with someone had disappeared. On another occasion, Louis was watching Wynan play the piano in the music room. She felt pretty jealous when Zanyan showed up and tried to get close to him. And things got even more annoying when she heard rumors that Shanyan and Wynan were dating. Since she figured she had no chance with him, Louis decided to forget about Wynan and focus on her studies. Her plan was to work hard and become the top student in school. Meanwhile, Wynan ended up dead last in the school rankings because he skipped the school exam and chose to go abroad with Zanyan as the new #1 student in school. Louis also gave a speech and some motivation to all the students, just like Wynan had done. She encouraged everyone not to give up on their dreams, no matter the obstacles and failures they faced. Sometime later, Louis graduated from high school and headed off to a well-known university to study law. One day, as she was biking back to her dorm, something unusual happened. She accidentally piled onto a street where Hnan and his friends were filming a movie. Out of nowhere, a tomato fell right in front of her, nearly hitting her bike. She slammed on the brakes, and when she looked up, there was Hnan, who she didn't expect to see on the same campus as her. She was still trying to process it all, and Juan's friend Jean Mingru came over and tried to recruit her for their film. He'd seen her natural, shocked expression and thought she'd be great in it, but she brushed off Mingru's offer and left the scene. Back at the dorm, Louis wrote about the day's events in her diary. She mentioned feeling a mix of happiness and embarrassment when she unexpectedly saw Huyin, someone she'd been notif trying to forget. The next day, while having lunch in the cafeteria, Louis ran into Mingru. He invited her to join him and Wynan at their table. Louis felt a bit awkward sitting at the same table as Hunan. Eventually, though, they started chatting about their high school days. At first, she pretended not to recognize him, but when he reminded her they went to the same high school, she admitted she remembered him as Zanyan's boyfriend. Wynan confessed that he'd broken up with Zanyan, which made Louisa happy. Mingru even invited her to be in his short film, and she cheered up and accepted, especially because she get to be the main character alongside Hunan. Once Louis and Wynan were in the same class, and their professor asked them to practice a mock trial scene. Louis played the role of the plaintiff's lawyer, and Wynan was the defense lawyer. Louis really got into it, especially because the case was similar to something her dad had gone through. She managed to leave Hnan speechless with her arguments during the practice. Wynan was impressed by Louis's intelligence. That evening, Louis was working a part-time job at a shop. Out of the blue, Juan showed up and ordered a ton of food because he thought it would help her earn a bonus. Louis just chuckled at his amusing gesture. When her work shift ended, he stuck around to help her close up shop and walked her home. On the way, Juan suggested that she quit the job because the pay didn't match the hard work she put in. But she refused, explaining that she needed the money for her daily expenses. Not long after, she got a call from her roommate who was in trouble at a bar. She and Wynan rushed over to help out. When they arrived, they tried to assist her roommate, and Wynan even bravely tried to sort things out, but in the end, they got caught up in a mess and had to make a quick exit from the bar. As they ran, they found a hiding spot, but just as they thought it was safe to come out, it started raining. So they had to take shelter there while waiting for the rain to stop. Huyan apologized to Louis for pushing her to quit her job, but she didn't mind at all. Instead, she thanked him for helping her friend at the bar. Hnan then shared a bit about his high school days, mentioning how he used to communicate with someone through messages on the school roof wall. He said he was curious about who had written those messages and even suspected Zanyan. Louis, hearing this, could only stay quiet because she couldn't admit that she was the one behind those messages. The next morning, as Louis was getting ready to head to college, she heard an announcement that classes were canceled due to heavy rain and the possibility of a storm. Not long after, Wynan got in touch with her and asked where she was eager to meet him. Lucy fibbed, and said she was in front of the campus building 1. Nan told her to wait for him after the call. Lucy rushed to the front of the campus building and intentionally left her umbrella behind. So why Nan wouldn't recognize her if he had just arrived? She waited for him, and soon enough, he showed up and gave her a frog raincoat, just like her dad had promised. It made her really happy. A few days later, Lucy and her friends headed to an island to shoot Mingru's short film. Once the filming was done, they all hopped on a bus to go back home. Lucy ended up sitting next to Wee. Nan, out of the blue, she asked him, "What have you liked? Sunny, cloudy, or rainy days?" Wee Nan remembered the message he had read on the school roof wall, so he said he preferred rainy days, just like what he had written back then. When Luce heard his answer, she felt really happy and even had the courage to hold his hand. At that moment, Ween mentioned that he'd found the person he'd been searching for. From that day on, they decided to start dating. Lucy and Hanan were inseparable on campus, and even at the shop where she worked, he'd surprise her by joining her on the train ride home because he couldn't stand being apart from her. When Musa got home, she found her mom, Lil Lin, looking quite happy because she had gathered enough evidence to take legal action against Weenan's parents. Although Lucy was glad that her dad might finally get justice, she also worried about her relationship with Weenan, which could be affected by this problem. The next day, Lucy and Ween planned to visit their old high school. They even dressed in their high school uniforms to bring back memories of the good times they had there. In the afternoon, they went up to the school roof to see the messages they had written on the walls and promised not to forget each other. A little while later, as Lucy was getting ready to head back to campus, Weenan told her he couldn't go with her because he had some family matters to attend to. First, without his presence, her days started feeling empty, and she didn't hear from him for a whole week. Then, one day, Lucy got news that Weenan had misused his influence on campus, leading everyone to talk about his mistakes. On that same day, Lucy was surprised to find her mom waiting for her in the dormitory. Loon told her daughter that she had won the trial, and as a result, Weenan's father was sentenced to prison. His mother, in shock from the judge's decision, had to be rushed to the hospital. Upon hearing this, Lucy felt sad because she feared losing Weenan. She hurried to the hospital, where she expected to find Hanan, but to her shock, she saw Jean Yan there, accompanying Weenan's mother. Jan Yan, who had learned about Lucy's pastor her diary that she had taken, told her that she should forget about Weenan, who was going abroad with her to continue his studies. Hearing this, Lucy decided to abandon her plan to Munan and made up her mind to move on. Fast forward to the present. At the art gallery, Lucy finally got her diary back. When she opened it, she was surprised to see that Hanan had also written about everything that happened in the past. In his writings, Janan had told Hanan about Lucy's diary and even gave it to him. After reading all of Lucy's entries, Weenan realized how tough her life had been and how deeply she loved him. After high school, he had found out which university Puiji was attending and enrolled there too, just to be close to her. Weenan also revealed that he was initially confused about how to approach her, especially with the family problems they were facing. He could only watch her from a distance, especially when his own family had serious issues that forced him to stop studying and work odd jobs to support them. When Janan invited him to go abroad, he declined because he found the inspiration to become independent from reading Lucy's diary. Even now, every time it rains, Weenan can't help but think of Lucy, who has become a successful lawyer. He feels a bit insecure about approaching her, but he's determined not to let her slip away again. If given a second chance, after pouring his heart out in Lucy's diary, Weenan hopes that she'll read his story someday. A while later, as he was packing his things, Jean-Ann stumbled upon a cassette of a film they had made back in school. Watching it, he couldn't hold back his tears as he longed for the girl he loved. Then, out of the blue, he received a call from the gallery saying that someone wanted to take back the diary he had submitted for the exhibition. Towards the end of the film, it shows Weenan meeting Lucian in front of the gallery. Despite the awkwardness, She repeats the question she had once written on the school roof wall, but he confesses that he loves her more than Rain. Hearing his answer, Lucy felt overjoyed because it meant that they could finally be
together again, more or less in far. This story shows us that love can overcome difficulties and come back stronger when two people are determined to work through problems and talk openly about their music feelings.